up, y'all? I was just thinking, man, when I woke up this morning, I was feeling real good. And I'm like, man, it's only January 14th. I feel like I've done so much already this year. I'm like, man, it literally feels like February. And I've noticed that I've been saying that. Like, I keep finding myself saying, man, it feels like it's later in the year. When I notice a thought or a feeling or something just arising, a lot of times if it's in me to, like, you know, to be conscious of it and to think about it, then I take a step back and I get to the root. So I've been feeling, when I wake up in the morning, I feel so different lately. Like, I just feel different lately, and I'm like, I know that there's a new way of thinking and operating that I've adapted to this year, very consciously. And I noticed that, like, certain things that I'm doing is so effortless. And if I would have thought like this, let's say in January 2025, if I told myself, okay, this is how I want to operate now, whatever, whatever, that thought would have been so much bigger than me at that time. So I stopped allowing myself to think like that. For one, I stopped allowing myself to think that anything is bigger than me. So I stopped thinking like that. I stopped talking like that. And then over time, I just, over maybe a course of a month, I just altered, a lot of things. And then I implemented a few other things that were new to me. Um, I shouldn't say they were new to me, but I was doing it in a way that now I'm much more conscious of this. And I want to be very consistent I want to be very consistent doing this thing. So one of the things that I've been doing is, in my sleep, I'm rewiring the way that I might think of things, or the way that I might process information, or the way that my nervous system might process information. And I've been listening to certain messages in my sleep. So I'll put a message on my phone. I'll put my phone under my pillow. I set a timer for the phone to turn off once the video is over. I'm going to do this every day the first month of the year. Let's see if anything changes. And it's something that I forget each morning. I forget that I did that last night. Like, I forget that I set that message to be played in my ears. I forget that I went to sleep to it, but the way that my body feels and the way that my body responds to that when I'm waking up and throughout my days, I'm less busy, I'm less busy minded, I'm less anxious, I'm less reactive. My nervous system doesn't need to cling on to thoughts or to emotions or anything. It's like I recognize a thought and then I release the thought. Whether that's a negative, self doubt, whatever it may have been. Now, when a thought comes, I don't have to elevate that thought. I can regulate my thoughts. And in turn, my nervous system is at ease, and I feel so good. And I was just like, I thought that I always felt good. I thought that I was always, you know what I'm saying. But I guess it's levels. It's levels to everything. So one of the things that have helped me, I've been doing this for 10 years now. Where I've been listening to rain sounds, or white noise, or brown noise, or green noise. I listen to those things in my sleep. I've been doing that, like I said, for 10 years now. But I've been consciously listening to other messages now, from philosophers. So it might be a message from 1920, it might be a message from 1960, it might be, whatever. People like Jim Rohn, Napoleon Hill, whatever, but these people came, before them. So I'm listening to them as I sleep, and the messages might be 30 minutes long, they might be 40 minutes long, 45 minutes, and I set a timer. YouTube on the app will let you set a timer to turn off after, to sleep once the video ends. So I set the timer for the end of the video, set the phone under my ear, under my head, on a very low volume, and I sleep to it. It's been amazing. typically with the brown noise or the rain sounds and things like that, I'll put that on my TV so the thunder and things from the videos will rumble the room. And I love that. But something about these messages has just, well, for one, I fall asleep very fast. I didn't used to be like that. It used to be when I would go to sleep, I would spiral. All these thoughts, before I started to change my life and to be very conscious of the things that I'm doing. This was a very bad problem where I would say, oh, I have insomnia, like I can't even sleep at night. Then as I started to change my life, I would be so structured throughout the day, and then when night came, I would spiral. So then I'm like, I can't keep winning my days and spiraling at night. So like I said, about 10 years ago, I started implementing the rain sounds. Over time, I noticed less emotional reactivity, whether that was in the mornings or just to situations that will happen, inconveniences in life or just whatever. I noticed, like, I remember very vividly when I would wake up, when my mornings, I remember my mornings being great. Like, I remember the time when it started to happen. I remember I used to hate waking up. I didn't know what the day was going to bring. And I vividly remember when my days started to be better. And it's when my mornings started to be better. Um, when I first started this whole life journey and everything, I was just very conscious of how I was feeling. I was very conscious of my emotions because I was a very angry person. I was quick to anger. I was quick to spazzing out. I was quick to reacting. So I very vividly remember when scenarios and situations would arise and I would not react. And I'm like, it wasn't like something I had to suppress. It just never came up. I didn't need to react. My body was no longer reacting to things. And that started when I started listening to those rain sounds on that little Bluetooth speaker on the side table. And yeah, I'm listening to rain sounds and I'm waking up in the morning faster to focus, faster to gratitude. Just like everything was, all the positive things that I wanted to feel, I was feeling. Everything that I was speaking and manifesting, I was starting to actually feel. And it was because I started to take certain actions and started to make certain things a habit in my life. Listening to those rain sounds, listening to positive messages throughout the day. When I would wake up in the morning, there was no ifs, ands, or buts. I was listening to a podcast when I woke up. I was finishing that book that I started, but I used to love to listen to books on YouTube. I couldn't afford books at the time. I was technically homeless still. Even though I had somewhere to lay my head, I didn't have my own home, right? I didn't have any money. I didn't have anything. So I'm like, I need to get my days in motion. Like, I need to get control of myself, of my days, of my life, of how I feel. And yeah, I think it's very important that we implement these things. Now, I'm not saying listen to what I listen to or listen to who I listen to. All I'm saying is if there are certain habits that you can instill in life to help or to at least try to get the ball rolling, to steer you to more positivity, to steer you towards less emotional reactivity, to steer you to a lower baseline anxiety, to steer you to a place where you're in control of your emotions. You don't have to react to things. Bro, do it. Because the sense of peace that you get and the sense of control and power that you have throughout your days and just throughout life and all the different scenarios, no matter the climate of life that you're in, no matter the season of life that you're in, I'm telling you, bro, you have a different step, you have a different walk, you have a different talk, and you're going to affect people that you talk to differently. And in turn, the world is going to be a better place. When you focus on the individual before you focus on the people, you make the individual better, it's going to make the people better.